continue going on like this, I don't see a successful World Cup.
No, because at the pace we are going, Mika, America is now divided into very distinct factions.
Lines.
There are some historians who are comparing this moment to the moments before the Civil War, whereby Americans are seeing each other as enemies.
Yes.
Yes, there's Americans are seeing each other as enemies, and the temperatures, the way they're rising, a lot of things we thought can never happen in America, of course, they're already happening, where people are being arrested without due process. People who are here legally are being detained and being taken to other states so that they cannot get legal protection. And even worse, the executive or the president is defying court orders very blatantly. Are fans going to be allowed to get visas, especially if a country like Venezuela qualifies for the World Cup? Are their fans just going to be allowed in to get visas and come in for the World Cup? A lot of those countries that were on that list, that banned list that was drawn up. In fact, even there's quite a number of African countries are in there. Cameroon was in there. I don't even know how Cameroon made that. I don't know what Cameroon did to deserve to be on that list. Very interesting. South Africa, we can understand. So South Africa, we can understand. But South Africa, they will selectively allow, white South Africans to come in. The Qatar World Cup, despite all the propaganda that was there before, it turned out to be a very amazing World Cup.
It was the best World Cup. It was the best World Cup ever. Everybody agreed to it. Agreed to it. It was the best World Cup in terms of football quality and in terms of organization.
Yeah, but sasa here US, because of the climate that's in the US, whereby now even people coming from outside, right now US no longer has people who like us anymore. Because even Canada no longer likes the US. So I can imagine all these fans coming from all these countries. You first of all brought a very critical issue. Are fans going to be allowed to get visas, especially if a country like Venezuela qualifies for the World Cup? Are their fans just going to be allowed in to get visas and come in for the World Cup? A lot of those countries that were on that list, that banned list that was drawn up. In fact, even there's quite a number of African countries are in there. Cameroon was in there. I don't even know how Cameroon made that. I don't know what Cameroon did to deserve to be on that list. Very interesting. South Africa, we can understand. South Africa, we can understand. But South Africa, they will selectively allow, white South Africans to come in. So at least that at the bare minimum, we know. So your climate, I don't know whether it's going to affect, but I have a feeling that by June of 2026, I have a feeling something will happen.
You're saying things will have changed?
Because the rate at which we are going, we are going to speed kills.
Something is going to have to give.
You know what's going to be
kills.
The barometer?
Yeah.
What's going to be the barometer is this summer's Club World Cup.
What do you mean by the barometer? As in terms of success?
Yes, to see, to gauge.
The Club World Cup is what's going to gauge how
things will be
going to happen.
Okay.
Because the Club World Cup is also going to allow fans for various clubs to travel and come and watch their teams playing in the Club World Cup, which is going to be in the summer. And we have teams from all over the world in the different very different continental confederations that are coming in. So that's going to be like a test to see, first of all, what is the recipient, what is the atmosphere, how people are looking towards attending a big tournament in America, and also seeing if we are at a position where we can host such a huge tournament. So the Club World Cup is going to be a huge measure for it. One thing about the Club World Cup is kutakuwa na clubs zimetoka countries zingine where people would bother about them. So I'm sure people are going to watch games for Chelsea, Inter Miami, Man City, Real, Barca. People are not going to watch teams from Uko
Al Ahly.
Al Ahly, yeah. In Al Ahly, like kuna team zingine hazitaonekana. So the Club World Cup is going to be to be a barometer for that. Now, as you've said, Ali, I believe that there is going to be a shift of how things are doing, because if we continue going on like this, I don't see a successful World Cup.
No, because at the pace we are going, Mika, America is now divided into very distinct factions.
Lines.
There are some historians who are comparing this moment to the moments before the Civil War, whereby Americans are seeing each other as enemies.
Yes.
Yes, Americans are seeing each other as enemies, and the temperatures, the way they're rising, a lot of things we thought can never happen in America, of course, they're already happening, where people are being arrested without due process. People who are here legally are being detained and being taken to other states so that they cannot get legal protection. And even worse, the executive or the president is defying court orders very blatantly. He's defying court orders.
Utadu?
Yeah.
Si akona ile blanket statement.
Yeah. So, but these are things that you never thought that you'd see in America. So,
going back to kitu ingine pia,
yes,
on the topic that you've said,
yeah.
You umesema Americans are seeing each other in a very negative, different ways. Ni kama Tesla.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
The owner of Tesla is deep MAGA. The customers of Teslas are not MAGA.
Yes.
They're conservatives.
They are liberals.
And that is why, they're liberals. Yeah, they're liberals. And that is why you're seeing they're returning them. They're taking them back. And the boycott is working because most of the people he leans to are not working for them. In the same way, Trump has fully put himself behind this World Cup. He's the one who actually made FIFA bring this World Cup when he promised them a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
And they brought this World Cup. And it was during that time when they were pushing for that, when there was that scandal of corrupt FIFA officials.
Yes.
Remember, it was the FBI who actually pushed for the prosecution of people going on. And that was during Trump's tenure, and he pushed for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and fans of football are liberal.
Now that's
majority of them.
That's
so
yes.
So there's that. Like we're in that position whereby right now we really don't know where we are, right? Like we don't know where we're standing. We don't know how things are going. Is it going to be for the love of the game that's going to win and everybody's going to come out and go there? Or is it going to be a situation whereby, this thing is tied to this guy's name, F it, we're not going.
And then you see if Trump goes to a game, you know what's most likely going to happen? He's going to get booed. He's going to get booed, and he's very sensitive to stuff like that.
He's going to go to games in Boston, in Texas.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly. Even if he goes to Texas,
and New York,
the fans of soccer in Texas, like Mika is saying,
yes,
is liberal people. You don't expect boot and hat wearing cowboys to come watch soccer. They're not your typical soccer fans.
Maybe in San Francisco, Sujui.
I mean, regardless of what city it will go to, and actually almost remind us again those cities where these games are going to be played in, because I noticed that I'd assumed that in Canada it's only going to be Toronto, but clearly there's also Vancouver, British Columbia.
Correct.
They will also have games there.
So Atlanta, Arlington, Texas, Atlanta, yes, like I said, Boston, Guadalajara, Mexico, Houston, Kansas City, Missouri, Los Angeles, Mexico City, Miami, Monterrey, which is basically Estadio BBVA, which is that's Mexico, New York, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Seattle, Toronto, and Vancouver in Canada.
Okay, all right. So those are the cities. And I want to remind the listeners that you tuned into the One Mic Show. Please call in and let us know what your plans are for the 2026
World Cup. We will go to a game
World
in
Cup.
Kansas. Suko kuna watu wake.
Oh, Kansas Spear.
Yeah,
Kansas Spear kuna game.
And that's going to be at Arrowhead Stadium.
Now, again, the number is 202-683-4570. Press star 5. Kansas got some games and DMV got none. I'm still not over that. But let's move on.
Normally we would have gotten games, but I think they had to play Cheza Kamau because I think they were probably looking at Philly and New York being close.
Hatuna stadium.
So, okay.
FedEx Field haingeweza.
FedEx Field ile ni stadium ama cho?
No, Cho ni MNT Stadium.
No,
MNT is actually a way modern stadium than FedEx.
Let's agree to disagree. Let's agree to disagree.
Ali, that one we can. That one we can argue. We can argue mpaka tomorrow. FedEx is pretty. I've gone to both stadiums.
Me too.
I think it's capacity.
Yeah.
I think it's capacity.
No, MNT should maintain the capacity. FedEx is big enough.
Yeah, FedEx is big enough.
FedEx is old.
But MNT, between MNT and FedEx, which is older?
MNT has had refurbishment.
It was refurbished.
Like MNT was given a whole facelift. I was in MNT last year.
MNT.
It's been refurbished. It's a totally different state.
MNT gives City Stadium vibes.
No.
Nenda kwa study alafu ndio sema.
Nimeenda study. Nimeenda when
MNT mwisho siku gani?
Ilikuwa it was last summer when Arsenal was playing there.
Okay.
It was last summer.
Yeah, and then ulienda FedEx mwisho siku gani? Ukompezo stadium mbili.
FedEx nimeenda pia this year sijaingia FedEx.
Yeah, FedEx is worn out. Yeah. FedEx is a worn out stadium. FedEx ndio kwa stadium yetu ya kuhost game.
Okay.
No, FedEx in capacity, FedEx would have been the stadium.
I think 76 to 80.
Yeah. But FedEx is hey man, ukacompare FedEx ukiangalia kitu kama ile
I see what Mika is saying. What Mika is saying
is old, like
it needs to be refurbed. It needs to be refurbed ndio ingie hiyo standard.
And then the purpose built
it's so old. It's like iko na technology ya 1950 sijui ngapi.
No, but MNT is older than me. Unasema so old.
But MNT is old, but it has been refurbished.
Imepigwa refurb. And I see what Mika is saying because
MT has been refurbished, has been modernized. Different.
Normally,
unaona ile afili.
Lincoln.
Yeah, Lincoln. It's old, but Lincoln imetengenezwa imekuwa refurbed.
Hiyo MNT and FedEx we can agree to disagree.